Welcome, NoDQ Galaxy, and we're back with a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review, number 69. And I am Virtue, being joined by, of course, Aaron Rift, as usual. Big G, look at you, Big G, the remarkable Robbie Vice, and making his return back to NoDQ Video. It's been so long. It's Interstate Carl, right?
It's Kyle, but it's close enough. I mean, I've been gone a long time, so I don't blame you for forgetting my name.
Interstate Kyle. No, I knew that. What's up?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a long time since I've been on NoDQ. I don't think I've been on a video on NoDQ since Survivor Series, so it's been almost a full year now. But I've just been really busy working, and then, of course, this past summer I've been traveling a lot. Some of you may not have been seeing my posts on the internet, but yeah, I've just been traveling, watching wrestling here and there. I don't know. I haven't been watching wrestling as much as I used to, just because, I don't know. I just haven't really been that interested in it, but I still watch the YouTube clips just to kind of keep myself going with what's going on with wrestling.
So we can consider you a casual fan, and we need a casual fan's opinion on this show. So we'll get back to you. Welcome back. Aaron Rift, what's up?
Well, I'm happy to have Interstate Kyle back in the fold. Welcome back, Kyle. It's good to have you back with us, and it's been quite the busy week between NXT TakeOver UK. We had AEW All Out. We have some news regarding the AEW World Championship. Lots of stuff to cover. I'm stoked for it. Big G, how you feeling?
I'm doing good. Just got back from the gym. I'm pumped up. And let's get this ball rolling, Virtue.
Wow, pumped up. Well, you're not going to pass it on to Robbie Vice?
Oh, right.
I'm just forgotten now. Not even important anymore. Well, thank you, Virtue. I'm doing great. A lot of wrestling this weekend. I wish I could say I'm more excited about it, but I'm sure we'll dive into that here shortly.
All right, well, let's begin. So we're going to go over our thoughts if we saw everything. So it's going to be interesting to see who saw what and who talks about what. Regarding this past weekend, there was NXT UK Takeover, right? What was that city? Cardiff or whatever?
Cardiff,
Big G, I know you're going to have some stuff to say about that, because if you haven't watched that by now, as you are the resident NXT UK mark, then shame on you. But also, All Elite Wrestling All Out. And which I did go and watch in some way or another, but we'll get into. I'm not going to get into how I watched it, but I want everybody's thoughts on, if you watched both shows, which one did you think was better, and of course your takes on either show. So since you're back, Interstate Kyle, did you see either show?
Honestly, I haven't watched the NXT UK. I really don't follow it at all that much because, like I said, there's just way too much WWE shows to watch and keep up with these days. I mean, we got like 10, 12 hours of wrestling each week, it seems, these days. I'm like, yeah, no thanks. Raw and SmackDown YouTube clips are enough for me, and then I'll watch some of the NXT clips. But I've been watching a little bit of All Out and just AEW in general, kind of seeing where they're going. I just love the YouTube clip of Chris Jericho after he won the world title, just going backstage and just being Chris Jericho. Bubbly stuff, baby.
So did you see any other highlights from All Out? I mean, was there anything like cringeworthy or really cool that you might have popped your Twitter or Facebook feed?
I mean, not really.
That's what it's all about these days, right? To casual fans who don't watch wrestling anymore, to catch something they like, to bring them back in. Oh, wait, is that even a thing anymore? But you know what I mean? Is there anything besides Jericho? Because it's interesting you mentioned Jericho, right? Mainstream.
Yep, I'm wearing Chris Jericho's shirt and everything. I mean, Chris Jericho is really the only person I care about in AEW right now, to be honest, because really I'm just waiting for the show to come on, and I think in less than a month now that the show is going to be debuting on TNT now. So it'll be interesting to see. I'll definitely check it out to see, what they got to offer, but there's just not a lot to really kind of bring me in because wrestling hasn't been really that hot lately these days. I mean, I guess you can really consider me a casual fan because, I mean, I know Chris Jericho. I really can't name that many people besides like Cody, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, obviously, but I really can't name that many people on the AEW roster just because, I really don't care about wrestling that much. But, I'll give it a shot. I'll see how it goes the first few weeks and see how
Moxley. Don't forget about Moxley.
Oh, yeah,
and that's pretty much all the people that count. Big G, tell me your thoughts here, okay? I know you didn't pay $50 to see All Out, but I know you probably found ways to watch some stuff from it. But I know you watched NXT UK. So indulge.
Yeah. So I did end up watching NXT UK not as soon as I got home from work, but a couple hours after I got home. I did enjoy NXT UK Takeover Cardiff. I thought it was better than Blackpool, just by a little bit. And as far as All Out. I did catch some highlights on YouTube. The match between the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks, the Spot Fest, as Virtue calls it. Highlights from Jericho and Hangman Page and the Casino Battle Royal that the women were in. And I mean, I'm an NXT guy, so obviously NXT UK Takeover was the better show for me.
Well, tell me about it.
Okay, yes. So I
Thank
think
you.
the match of the night, I think, had to be Cesaro versus Ilya Dragunov. That was a very good match.
I did watch that one because of Cesaro.
That's
See?
how Cesaro, I think, the crowd counted 40 swings, but it could have been like 30 seconds or something like that. But that's the longest amount of swings that he's done since he's been in WWE. I also enjoyed the main event, Tyler Bate versus Walter. Even though it was a 40-minute match, it was still good, I mean, I enjoyed all the other matches, obviously, but those two matches stood out to me.
You think Walter's going to be something? Because I don't see it in him, but I've heard people like him.
He's good for his size, and maybe it's the German in me that likes him because he's from Austria, so I kind of have that connection.
Good guy, mate.
So I said Austria, not Australia.
Have you ever seen Dumb and Dumber? Have you ever seen Dumb and Dumber? Okay.
I know.
All right. Well, thank you for your take on NXT UK. Robbie Vice, I know you're going to have some things to say, especially about All Out, so go.
So I didn't watch WWE NXT UK because I don't care about it, and I heard it was a great show. I did pay $50 to watch the AEW pay-per-view, and I wish I could get a refund because it was one of the worst shows I've seen in quite a long time. The last two shows on the card I think were worth some money, but I watched it. I had my girlfriend sit and watch it with me. Again, she's not a wrestling fan. The hardcore match was plain stupid. She literally laughed the entire time. It was a joke. It made a joke of the business. I did not care for it. The wrestling was sloppy. Their women's division is garbage. It is one of the worst women's divisions I've ever seen. If I could go back in time, I would not watch it. I would save my $50 and I would watch the Jericho promo afterwards, and I might have been happy. But I am not happy that I paid $50 to watch Amateur Hour and then one or two good matches. Like the Pac match was good, and that was entertaining. Jericho was good. Luchasaurus is good. Marco's stunt does not ever need to be in wrestling ever again. That guy needs to be sitting in the audience watching people do it. Jungle Boy needs some time to develop. I don't know. I'm not impressed. And if they don't pick it up, I think they are buried and dead in the water against WWE's NXT on Wednesdays.
And I respect your opinions because there's a lot of wrestling fans that don't want to be honest. If they don't like something, they won't say it. They will not say it, and you just did. So, Aaron, I'm coming to you now, and I want you to tell me more about NXT UK because I didn't watch it other than the Cesaro match. But what you thought should have went on last. I really want to know what you think. Go.
Well, I'm just nervous now that like to dislike ratio is going straight to hell now after that.
It's
Sorry,
honest
buddy.
opinion. I mean, right?
Well, see, it should be an honest opinion that should not lead to people thumbs downing the video. But I was slightly critical of AEW when I did my recap, and that video got some heat. There were some AEW fans that were not happy because as far as they're concerned, AEW can do no wrong. And if you criticize AEW, you're basically trying to bring them down and prevent them from succeeding and all that stuff, which is a bunch of BS. But yeah, I mean, I can understand the criticisms, and I thought it was a great show. I thought both were great, and I guess I'm the only one here that saw both shows from start to finish. I thought both were great shows. I thought the NXT show was slightly better. I stick to what my original thought was from a few days ago. I think the NXT show, just because of the 2.5 hours to 3 hours, I've said it several times. To me, that's the perfect length for a show. And it ended, I know you guys praised the Cesaro match, and that was a great match, but I thought that main event was fantastic. Walter and Tyler Bate was amazing. And I think that main event blew the AEW main event out of the water. Now, Virtue, I agree with you. The AEW World Title should go on last, but the World Title match should be the best match of the show, and it wasn't. As great as Jericho is,
what made the Young Bucks and Lucha Brothers better? Woo! Kick out! Woo! Kick out. Explain
Well,
to me,
first of all,
because
there
I
were
know
no
that's where you're
kickouts
going
because
with
it was a ladder match.
But it doesn't matter. They still did spots, right? It's ridiculous. I mean, they're going to kill. Somebody's going to get paralyzed. Somebody is going to get paralyzed.
You make a great point, and that's why, like, as much as I find those matches entertaining, I would rather see a match where they think smarter with their moves and less is more type of philosophy.
Did the Walter match and Tyler Bate match make you think of like the matches back in the day between like Steamboat and Ric Flair and like that?
Well,
like,
they just did an excellent job of making the most out of just basic psychology. Like, it's big man versus little guy, and Tyler Bate kept trying to pick up Walter, and when he finally got him up for a body slam, the crowd just went absolutely nuts. A body slam got the crowd roaring and buzzing. With the Young Bucks match, and I said this before the pay-per-view, I said that the Young Bucks are going to go out there and practically kill themselves to get a pop and get the match over with the fans. So, yeah, I mean, those types of matches, you know, the Hardys, Dudleys, Edge and Christian, that was an excellent TLC match. But, yeah, it's crazy. And those guys, they cut years from their career doing those types of matches. And, yeah, it's just playing with fire. And, yeah, would the fans really think so highly of that match if one of those guys got seriously hurt? So, yeah, as long as they're not getting hurt, people are going to praise these matches and say they're the greatest thing in wrestling right now. But if Matt Jackson or Nick Jackson got seriously hurt, broke a leg or something, people would be, well, you know, this is too dangerous. They shouldn't be doing this. This is not how wrestling should be. So I say it's still entertaining. I found it thoroughly entertaining because it was just craziness from start to finish. But I prefer what Walter and Tyler Bate did better. And I think it's better long-term to do matches like that instead of the Young Bucks doing all their stuff. But, you know, maybe they're just trying to get it off the ground with AEW. Maybe they're not going to do all this crazy stuff. But when they don't do that crazy stuff, what do they really bring to the table? That's the question.
See, all right, Aaron, I get you here. And the AAA titles, that those aren't AEW titles. Now, I know in TNA they did the NWA stuff, and it seemed like it meant something back then, or they tried to make it mean something. But the AEW championship, as you said, should have won on last. And a match like that doesn't have to be, like the one guy says, 5 stars. All it needs to do is produce the winner. And the right winner was chosen in Chris Jericho, because now all kinds of drama, hate, him losing the championship belt or getting it stolen, which we'll talk about. That's what sells the next event, not a 5-star match. It's the result. It's the heat. It's the promos after. So when I watch that match, Jericho and Hangman Page, it had the slow moments that today's fans don't like. But he bladed. He did the psychology with the ref. They had their spots that they built up to. 20 years ago, everybody would have said that was an awesome match. And today, it's flat. See, I hate where wrestling has went.
I put that more on Adam Page than Jericho. I think Jericho did fantastic. I felt like Adam Page shouldn't even have been in that match in the first place. I know that a lot of people like him, and he's been one of the favorites going in. And I get the idea that you should build up a young guy as the champion, but I think Jericho's the right move because he has that star power. And look at the whole thing with the title and with it being stolen, and then Arby's tweeting Jericho and Jericho responding to Arby's. And that's getting a lot of buzz and publicity, which is good for getting casual fans watching AEW. So I think Jericho being the first champion is good. And hopefully they build up somebody who can beat Jericho and make a name out of beating Chris Jericho to become the second AEW world champion.
Now, let me piggyback off that real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
So I 100% agree with you. Jericho's the right decision, and Jericho did very well in that match. Adam Page, on the other hand, you know, and look, I know people are going to be really upset that I'm criticizing all these guys, but if we're gonna crap on WWE on a weekly basis, we need to be consistent and criticize things when they're good, when they're bad, and praise them when they're good. Can you think of anything like spots or any moments that Adam Page really stood out as a mega star during that match? Because to me, I don't want to say phoned it in because I know he tried, but it's like he froze in the spotlight, and I just didn't see anything in him other than this guy's not ready yet. I think they pushed him there too quick. I think Jericho's the right decision, but I think I would have put the cleaner in there. I would have put Kenny Omega in there instead. I don't understand the Adam Page thing because I just don't think he's ready. Does anyone disagree with that, or can anyone think of a moment in that match where Adam Page really stood out?
I saw a lot of people wanting him to beat Jericho, so I don't see a problem with that right there, because once their TV starts and then there's the actual meat and bones main event feud for their pay-per-view, that the TV is supposed to promote, all this All In, Double or Nothing, All Out, it's pre-TNT, right? So to me, these are house shows that happen to be on pay-per-view. Maybe that's why they just wanted to do Adam Page, just to get the title on Jericho, save a bigger match to promote on TV with the Omegas, with the Moxleys. And that's kind of why I think they did that with Page. And to give those diehard indie-type fans that like the Adam Pages of the world that false hope, which is why I love Jericho going over. Nobody talked about Cody and Shawn Spears with the Arn Anderson stuff. I thought that was a fantastic... Cody Rhodes is doing the old school stuff probably better than Jericho. I'm enjoying everything Cody Rhodes has been doing. He's not putting himself in the title pictures. He's having these personal feuds. I like it. Any thoughts on the Cody Rhodes stuff? And, of course, Arn coming out and hitting Shawn Spears with the spine buster. I mean, classic moment.
I mean, yeah, I saw that clip on YouTube, when Arn came out and hit the spine buster, but that's all I saw. And, I mean, I do like how Cody is, like you just said, not putting himself over, not putting the title on him, not putting himself in major feuds. He's having these personal feuds. He had it with Goldust, or Dustin Runnels, Dustin, and now Shawn Spears, and maybe MJF eventually down the road.
Yeah. Well, what's funny to me is that he bashes Triple H, or not really bashes him, but makes fun of him, doing that parody with the throne. But basically, what Cody Rhodes is doing is Triple H's shtick. He's doing the big entrances. He had the Star Trek entrance, and he comes out there. He does these slow-paced, methodical matches that Triple H does. So, I mean, yeah, he's doing a really good job at it. But I mean, he's essentially Triple H 2.0 as far as I'm concerned.
1.5.
Or this could be a rib. It could be a rib. So anyway, I found that interesting. But had I watched both shows, I don't know, I probably would have liked All Out better because Jericho won the title. Let's go to the next topic. So he's traveling. I think it was in Tallahassee, Florida, right? And he leaves his limo to go into a restaurant. And what's weird is all the years Jericho's been doing this, traveling, 20 plus years, multiple titles, probably locking them in your bags, having your bags checked into security or, through luggage check, having them locked in trunks. Now, I can see this Jericho riding down the street in his limo holding his title belt. So anytime somebody gets a glimpse of it, he has his title belt because he's in full character right now, promoting that title. But for him to leave it on the seat and just walk into a restaurant, it doesn't add up. I know there's police reports, and I know that it's on TMZ, and it was stolen. But gosh, why when I think of wrestling stuff, Rob, I'm going to start with you. Why do I always think work for publicity? But whether it was really stolen or you have the chief of police of the Tallahassee Police Department doing fake reports, and I don't even know how legal that is, but I mean, if you're the chief, you can pull strings. Why do I not even care if you really got it stolen or this is a work? Everything that's following is pure Jericho brilliance. The hot tub, the bubbly, the promos, the aging rock star look with the gut and people telling him to eat more cheeseburgers. What do you think, man, with this stolen AEW title?
Look, I think it probably was misplaced. I don't know if I would use the word stolen. I sure as hell can't wait for 10 years down the road to hear this actual story from Jericho on one of his podcasts about what really happened. Why do you like it, Virtue? Because you love Vince Russo, and this smells like a Vince Russo storyline. I mean, this is sports entertainment at its finest, right?
How weird is it that Russo is going to be on Talk is Jericho very soon? Think about that.
Sure, yeah. But no, I think it's a great angle. I hope they can turn it into something. I hope they use it in storyline because when they blur the lines, I think that's good. Hopefully, whoever stole it is maybe next in line for a feud with Jericho for the title. They could spin it into something like that. But I don't know. I think it's exciting, but we'll see what they do.
Aaron Riff, what do you think?
I'm just giving Jericho props for being able to take this situation, which I find it hard to believe that this would be a work, the police would be in on it. Like, I don't think that's the case. But what I think happened was he capitalized on the situation. He took a negative and turned it into a positive and cut that promo. I just wish there was like more to it. Like, the title's been recovered now, and I feel like that's it for it. But I would have liked to have seen like a storyline on TNT where the title's still missing. Like, I would have had AEW ask the police to not say anything about it. If they did find the belt, just keep it quiet and act like it's still missing and have it as a TV storyline. Jericho's out there. He wants to know where the belt is. Maybe Adam Page stole it. He's an outlaw. And that would build up his character, the outlaw stealing the title and making a little bit more of a personal feud between those two. So yeah, I feel bad that this isn't going to be more of a thing now since the title has been found. I presume that that's the end of it and that's the last we'll hear about it. But yeah, props to Jericho for that promo and just trying to capitalize on the situation and figure out like how to create more buzz. And like I said, responding to RBs and all these different tweets about it. Like, I think it's been great.
So Kyle, Jericho's been doing this for 20 some years. How does this happen? Was he drinking a lot of vodka in the limo and he was just, shit faced? Like, what do you think, as a casual?
I mean, Chris Jericho's been known to, have a few drinks from time to time. And I know I've seen him have some issues in the past with drinking. I know he's been I don't know if I think he's been arrested for drinking, right? If I'm correct.
I think there was a mug shot back in the day, but
yeah,
he's a casual party drinker, but I don't think,
Yeah, I don't think he has any like real issues like the Usos or like Jeff Hardy or anything like that. He's not someone who's gonna get like a DUI or anything like that. But Jericho is just really good. Like, if this is a work, it's a really great work because Chris Jericho is one of the best people to actually make this work seem like a shoot or anything like that. But I just really like how Chris Jericho can turn any situation really and just make the most of it and turn it into a storyline and use it to his advantage. I mean, look, you've seen all the memes. You've seen R-Truth with the AEW title or Jinder Mahal in the limousine holding up the AEW title. Like, Chris Jericho's just really good at what he does, and he's playing the internet well, and we're all buying it. So what do you think, Big G?
Oh, shoot. Everybody pretty much said everything I was going to, pretty much
Where
say.
were you, by the way, Big G? Did you make a trip down to Tallahassee recently?
Yeah, no, maybe. You know what? I do have the AEW championship right there on my bed. It's sitting there propped up.
It was recovered.
It was recovered by Big G. If Chris Jericho wants it back, he's going to have to pay me at least, $5 million just to get it back.
So is the one that the Tallahassee Police Department recovered a fake one? If you have the real one.
Yep.
But you said you didn't have much more to add. I'm trying to make you add something here.
$1 million to reward. And Jericho was stupid if he left it in the limousine to go to a restaurant, and the limo driver could have handed it off to somebody else, or it could have been a work, But who knows? I was down there, when it was stolen, so.
Well, admitting that grand theft on the internet is probably not the smartest thing, but I respect your honesty.
You got a chance to say you were just ribbing everybody. I would give you about 3 seconds. Go.
Yeah, it's just a rib. I don't have the age.
All right, I'm starting with you on that. So basically, I love how Jericho is handling the situation. It's great. That's what he does. He's a sports entertainer. So let's move on, Big G. I'm going to start with you on this topic because you brought this topic to the table, right? Who should, NXT is moving to USA to go against AEW. Who should move if WWE does do this? Move to the NXT roster from the main roster and maybe be regulars. We've seen Tyler Breeze, right? Yeah. You said Cesaro, Cesaro's over in UK. But on the main roster right now, what do you think? Like, if they want to really put a couple guys back to NXT or girls, who do you think?
Well, number one, they could put Luke Harper down there again. I think he would benefit, have him go against, Killian Dane or, Matt Riddle, the Velveteen Dream, something like that. Another person I think that would really benefit, that he's been off of TV for a while. Well, both of them, Rusev and Lana. They could go back down there. EC3 really needs to go back down there. I think he would benefit that big time since he really hasn't been used on the roster since he's been up there. As far as females, heck, put Naomi down in NXT.
You really thought this one out, huh?
I really, because I'm thinking that even Mojo Rawley can go back down there. He has that new gimmick. Have him go down there, revamp himself. And if they ever have him go back to the main roster, at least they'll be refreshed, something new, something different. But those are the 5 or 6 people that I thought should benefit.
Robbie Vice. Let pop me. Who should be in NXT? Or do they just keep it like it is?
No, they don't keep it like it is. You want to have established people down there to draw ratings. You put the OC in NXT. You put AJ Styles down there. You put the Good Brothers down there. They could be a dominant veteran faction that could actually do veteran things and not get buried. Or I would put the Revival back down there. Okay. If I'm going to put a woman anywhere, I'm going to put Natalya in the locker room and not let her come out because I think she's really boring. But I don't know. I think the women's division in NXT is good. And maybe Asuka could go back and get a revamp. But I don't think they need a lot, but I think the Revival, the OC, and Asuka, I think that would be great. But NXT is doing pretty well right now. They have the Velveteen Dream, which I think is the greatest act in WWE right now. So I think they're doing all right.
Aaron Rift.
Well,
do you expect any big things with this?
Well, I agree with Robbie that I think NXT is doing just fine right now. And yeah, we could see a couple of guys go down to NXT to bump up the numbers. And I don't know if WWE should do it or not, especially if they're going to take the brand extension seriously again. I think it would be best to keep people on separate shows, but maybe permanently move a few people to NXT.
That's kind of what I mean, though. Permanent.
Yeah.
Like its own brand, not developmental anymore.
Right. Well, probably EC3, Rusev might be a good choice. Maybe the Revival, although they seem to be doing well with Randy Orton right now. It's hard to say, but maybe a couple guys. But for the most part, I think, like Robbie said, EC3 and maybe a few other people. But overall, keep NXT as it is and focus on those guys and just get something going with Rusev, like get him back on TV. And once the brands are separate again, I think there'll be more time to bring some of those people back. The problem is that right now you're getting the same people on both shows, like Becky Lynch and the tag team champions, the Revival. They're on both shows. Like all these different people, Roman Reigns, they're all on the same show. And that means that other people like Rusev are not getting TV time. So hopefully that'll change once this brand extension hopefully gets back to what it should be at this point.
Kyle, have you been keeping up with this?
So if there's a few people that I want to see go back to NXT, I think NXT is doing just fine like it is. I mean, the Velveteen Dream, like everyone said, is a big star down there. And I definitely see him doing big things on the brand there. Hopefully he doesn't move up to Raw or SmackDown anytime soon, because I really think he can be a big star down there on NXT as the third brand. And I guess NXT is kind of transitioning away from like the developmental, and it's actually going to be a brand, correct? Just like Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
Okay. And someone who should go back to NXT. I mean, geez, anyone heard of the Authors of Pain? What have they been doing lately?
There you go.
I mean, that I'm like, I don't think they've been on TV in months. I mean, geez, I haven't seen them in forever. I don't know what's going on with them, but I'd love to see them back in NXT. I think they still have room for development down there. Maybe a few veteran guys, like maybe Dolph Ziggler can go to NXT, because he seems to just kind of be hopping around both shows, really not really doing anything, just kind of throwing in these random feuds. Bobby Roode too. I would like to see him back in NXT. I don't really see him doing much on the main roster here or anything. He hasn't really done much since he came up to the main roster 2 years ago. So definitely someone like Authors of Pain, though, if I had to choose people to go back to NXT, they would definitely be the front runners of that. So
now I have a question. Big G, is Ciampa still technically, I know he's hurt, is he still technically NXT, or was he main roster? Or was that just like a NXT. WrestleMania season tease?
That was, well, originally it was supposed to be Gargano and Ciampa going up there to be on the main roster, but that switched when Ciampa got hurt, so they decided just to keep them down there.
So, yeah, I mean, with Breeze down there and Fandango, do you think they're regulars? I would actually, after hearing everybody's takes, I could see, people that aren't used on TV to go back down there. That makes sense, right? but like build the characters there. Let them have that national TV time. And you got Ciampa, Gargano, Cole, Velveteen, Riddle, and just utilize that, right? Make those bigger stars, because what if one of them, like Velveteen Dream, finally becomes the next guy and Vince says, let's do it. You know what I mean? So this USA spot for NXT might allow us to actually get a next big star, which WWE really hasn't produced lately, the way the old system worked with the WrestleMania call-ups. This might be a whole different category to build that next star that might make Vince open his eyes. So I say keep it very limited and build the people down there. Dijakovic, what's his name? Donovan.
Yeah, Dominic.
Dijak, well, that's what he was in the Indies. Like, I want to see guys like that get their time, you know?
Right.
And the females, too. So, anyway, let's move on. Because I think we had a heel turn. Like, heel turn is not, that's a loose term these days. Because when stale baby faces turn heel, the crowd pops for it, or at least talks about it on social media like it's a cool thing. So, Kyle, I want to start with you. Are you aware of Bayley's heel turn this past Monday night?
Yes, I watched the YouTube clips. I was kind of shocked. I was not expecting it to happen. When I first saw it, I'm like, okay, this can be very interesting. And then it all kind of comes down to the promo, because I knew she was going to cut a promo on SmackDown. And then I watched the promo and I'm like, what's really changed with her character, though? Really, not much. I mean, she still comes out with the same music, the whatever those things are called in her entrance. And then like the heel, like she wasn't really acting like a heel that much. And then the crowd was kind of just not treating her like a heel either. And then when Sasha Banks came out and then Charlotte came out, and then it's like, okay, Charlotte's supposed to be a face again. It just doesn't really make any sense. It seems like all these characters are like 50 Shades of Grey. There's like no defining line between heel and face these days. And one thing I noticed too is like they tried this last year with Becky Lynch, tried to turn her heel, and that didn't work. And then they were just like, okay, both characters have some points to prove. And then Charlotte became a heel, and then Becky just became the face. Honestly, I think all the four horsewomen should be heel, because I'm kind of getting tired of Becky Lynch. Sorry, guys. There go the dislikes. But I'm getting kind of tired of Becky Lynch. I think her character is getting stale. I think all the four horsewomen should reunite as heels and be like a little heel NWO type faction. But that's just my opinion. So.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, why not, right? I mean, they've mismanaged Becky's run. So there you go. Aaron Rift.
Well, I really like Kyle's idea about female NWO. Yeah, it's four big egos, but the thing
Didn't
about
I say
the
that
NWO,
in the past?
Yeah.
probably. Like,
But anyway, good idea, Kyle.
Yeah, the NWO, they were all about putting their egos aside for the greater good, and that was taking over WCW. So yeah, if you did that, that would be a really cool concept. And the problem with that, though, is I think they would get cheered. So it's like no matter what happens, they're going to get cheered. Now, is that because of the fans? You know, they like to cheer the cool characters and whatnot. I mean, I don't know, but the whole Bayley thing, I'll give it time to see how it plays out. Based on what I've gathered from a lot of people, they think that Bayley would be better off with a full-fledged character change, changing her music, changing her look. Instead, right now, it looks like she's going to be Sami Zayn, the female version, where she's going to go out there with the same music, same shtick, and she's just going to act like nothing wrong has been done by her, and that's the direction. I don't know if it's going to work long term, but I mean, it's gotten us talking. I thought it was a very interesting end to Raw, and I'm curious to see where it goes. Big G, any other thoughts you have on it?
Well, first, the only four horsewomen I know is the four horsewomen of MMA. These four horsewomen of WWE, I could give no. Anyways, Bayley, her heel turn, like you said, Aaron, she needs a complete change. Cut her hair, put her hair down, braid it up, you know, come out with new music, come out.
Wait, are you trying to turn her into Shayna Baszler?
No. And then like she could come out in like her little inflatable dolls or whatever. She could take like a pair of scissors and like pop them and, you know, say, screw you guys, I don't need the fans anymore, da 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 da. Hopefully she does do something drastically, you know, because like you said, it could be another Sami Zayn 2.0.
Okay. Robbie Vice.
What are you guys talking about? This was a great thing to happen. And I don't even view it as a heel turn. I just view it as her not being a stupid face anymore. I think all these heel turns are just the faces becoming less stupid. They're probably not going to do all the dumb cliche face anymore. Like, look, what did she say that was heel like? She said she's going to stick with the people who've been there for her the entire time, that she didn't want to get rid of that loyalty, and she attacked the person who obviously annoyed her for some reason. I don't see that as a heel move. I see that as a more realistic character turn. And if she wants to stay a role model and a face, I don't think there's anything better you can do than say you're going to stay with the people who have been there the whole time, and the people who cross you are going to get crushed, because that's what wrestling should be about. This stupid, cheerful Nickelodeon face thing needs to end immediately. And I kind of feel that that's what all these heel turns are leading to.
Maybe Becky called Bayley weirdo or so at some
That was
point.
So dumb. She said that. Did anyone else
maybe that
that
set her off. Maybe Becky backstage said weirdo, and Bayley's
she
like,
thought that was such a stupid promo that she wanted to hit her with a chair. She actually was giving me what I wanted after saying that stupid line. So I appreciated Bayley.
The one problem I have with this is I thought Bayley was on SmackDown. Oh wait, is this that wild card rule? But like, to me, it like just a mere couple of weeks after Sasha did it, it takes away Sasha's like edgy, like now Bayley had to do it. It's just weird, and they just attempt too many things because they think people are going to talk about it. I really think that it's just Vince McMahon. He probably didn't even know Bayley was a babyface, and he's just like, go out there and you were tag team champion last with Sasha, so go out there and hit Becky with the chair. Yeah, pal. You know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know. It's not, to me, I'm kind of indifferent with it. So let's move on. Number one wrestler, this is all kayfabe based on, how they're booked. But Seth Rollins, it's not in New Japan. When was the last time a WWE wrestler was number one on the PWI? I can't even remember. It always seems like it's a New Japan person.
Well, I think Roman was a couple of years ago.
I think Roman was, yeah.
Okay.
This is Seth Rollins' second time as number one, isn't it? I thought he was number one in 2015.
Should it be him? Basically, I'm just going to ask this question, everybody. Should it be him or someone else? Kyle, go ahead.
In the past year, Seth Rollins has had a pretty good year. I mean, he's won the Royal Rumble. He beat Brock Lesnar twice. But I just don't feel like mainstream he is the number one wrestler in the world. I think that's Chris Jericho, in my honest opinion. When it comes to mainstream, more people are talking about Chris Jericho than Seth Rollins. So
the problem with that, though, is All Out didn't happen soon enough so he could win the title. You know what I mean? But where was Jericho even numbered? Does anybody know? Because he was really, really extremely part-time, and I think that hurt him. Does anybody did they list the whole list yet? Oh, yeah, they did. I don't know. If anybody finds out what Jericho is numbered, I'm interested. But who wants to go next with this? Robbie? Think it should have been Rollins?
I mean, he's the top champion of the top company in the world. So, yeah, if it's going to go kayfabe, you have literally the top champion of the top company. That's probably the number one guy. Is he my favorite? No. Do I like him as a face? Not really. But if we're going to go strictly kayfabe on what he's accomplished, like Kyle said, he beat Lesnar, he won the Rumble, and he's Universal Champion in the top company. He's number one.
Okay, good point. Big G, what are you looking up there?
I'm trying to see. Let's see. Yeah, Jericho. I don't even see.
I know I should know this. I should have looked immediately when that list was published, and I should have found out what number he is. But nonetheless, Big G, what do you think, though? Are you for Rollins here in this spot? That was a good point Rob said.
I like Seth Rollins. He's had a good year. Like Robbie said, he won the Royal Rumble. He's beaten Brock Lesnar at the two biggest shows. Seth Rollins is a workhorse. He pulls out great matches. He's been in the business for a long time, and I think he deserves to be number one. It doesn't always have to be a New Japan guy. There's other companies in the world, and WWE right now is the number one brand.
And those two Universal title wins against Brock Lesnar sure help because we know that list is based on the booking. So, Aaron Rift?
Well, to me, that list is not important since it's not the NoDQ.com year-end award. So that's all I have to say about that.
But yeah, it's covered on your site under news, PWI 500 number one. So, Okay, then you pass it on to me, because Seth Rollins, I hate this list. This list should be about the business, not if you're booked to be champion. There's one guy that's been better than everybody creatively, because it's the guy that did not bat an eyelash for putting the guy that should not even be over as a WWE champion in that spot. The one guy, to me, that's done everything this business is about, trying to get somebody over into the next spot, is Daniel Bryan. And I believe if he pushed back and said, no, I'm not dropping the title to Kofi, and he kept it, and he's had that the whole time, and he wasn't in this stupid angle that they're trying to do, and he was still WWE champion with that title belt that he had made, he would have easily beat Seth to be number one. Daniel Bryan is the number one pro wrestler in the world today, hands down. I don't care about championships, and technically, he had a championship.
Better than Jericho?
Yeah, the thing that hurts Jericho is he's extremely part-time, and I will knock him down a little bit for that, but he's doing what he wants to do, so that's not a problem. I'm okay with that.
Now, hold on a second. So we do have the NoDQ year-end awards coming up, but that's the end of the year. We still have a little bit of time with TNT getting going in October. Maybe Jericho can be in the running if he has a couple good months, November, December.
Well, they got that weird run, however PWI does it. So, I mean, I wish things actually went from January 1st to December 31st.
Hey, there's something
NoDQ?
called the NoDQ.com year-end awards.
Well, but okay, we're plugging that then. PWI, you suck. But if TJS was here, I know he would say the same thing. He would be saying Daniel Bryan's the best wrestler in the world the past 12 months. Remember, we didn't know he was ever going to come back and wrestle again. So, what do you think, NoDQ Galaxy? I mean, who do you agree with here? Or is it Okada? I mean, who? Put it in the comments below. Any other?
Yeah, Virtue, I got a question. What for at least for the NoDQ year-end awards, what would Jericho have to do, in your opinion, to overtake Daniel Bryan this year?
If he held the AEW title and defended it at least 2 more times by the end of the year successfully, and he keeps doing his promos and bashing the fans, and Bryan's stuck in this role that, where he can't be utilized as a main eventer, I probably could maybe bump Jericho up. But let's be honest, Daniel Bryan's working a little bit more than Jericho, and he's doing really good. I mean, he's a good heel. I say Jericho is too, but I mean, Jericho has always been the better heel than a babyface throughout his career, right? Daniel Bryan was built on being a babyface, because that's Ring of Honor, New Japan, the indie darling. Like I don't know if he was a heel or babyface, but if you're an indie darling, you're basically a babyface. And then he had that heel run, right, when he came into WWE, but he's known for the WrestleMania 30 babyface run. So that is Daniel Bryan, and the fact that he's pulling this off now after he came back from a career-threatening injury, it's just fantastic. I mean, and I give him bonus points for that too. So let's move on. But good point, Rob. And you really want me to put Jericho number 1. But see, I got to be, objective, right? I don't want to, just because I like Jericho, I can't put him at that pedestal all the time. He's got to earn it. Now, with that said, halfway through our King of the Ring tournament, Aaron, I know you're a little, you raged about this a little bit, the way it's setting up, and Andrade's out. But so far, what's your thoughts? This is kind of bringing a topic back from the past, which we're known to do. But what's the likely outcome now? I know you've said this, so I just want to share it again. Your thoughts.
I mean, the tournament's been overall great. I have mixed feelings about that triple threat match. And Chad Gable, I like the guy, but I think Andrade would have been the best choice for being King of the Ring. That's just my opinion. I feel like Chad Gable, if he wins it, he's going to fizzle out in a month, and they're going to give up on pushing him. So I'd rather see somebody who's going to be pushed for the long haul win King of the Ring. And I don't know who that is at this point. Like Ricochet, I think is a good choice, but I prefer a heel to be King of the Ring. Maybe Samoa Joe will win it. Maybe Baron Corbin. But I don't know at this point. I guess maybe that's a good thing. Maybe WWE is doing the right move by keeping us guessing and wondering like how this is going to play out. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But Robbie, your thoughts, and has anybody here in this group, I don't think so, but has anybody here gotten all the brackets correct or even close to it?
Drew McIntyre ruined mine the first week. Look, it's happening. I hate to say it. Baron Corbin's going to be King of the Ring. I mean, that is what it's going to happen. None of us want it, but that's probably what's going to happen.
I think Virtue would agree that Baron Corbin is a good choice, and I think he would get the heat. People would not like that, but like Virtue said, he's arguably the best heel in WWE right now. But we'll get his opinion in just a few moments here. Kyle, your thoughts? Would you like to see Baron Corbin win King of the Ring?
I don't even know why we're doing the King of the Ring in 2019. I mean, I really don't know what purpose it serves, but honestly, if you're going to give it to anybody at this point, just give it to Baron Corbin because he's got the most heat with the crowd. He actually gets heel heat, which is very rare from a heel these days. And, he actually can pull off a good match. I mean, his match with Cedric Alexander was really good. So he's not as bad in the ring as some people like to make him out to be, but if anybody wins, I want it to be Baron Corbin just because he has that heat and he's not bad in the ring. So,
all right. Well, Big G, from who's left, who would be your pick?
Corbin. Corbin is starting. I'm starting to like Corbin a lot more nowadays. He did have a good match with Cedric Alexander. I don't know. Did he get any cheers during that match? No. Baron Corbin? No. Well, I like Baron Corbin. I think he's a good choice for King of the Ring. Samoa Joe, if they made Samoa Joe King of the Ring, I think he'd be the one fizzled out because he'd be the worst King of the Ring because he'd be losing every single match.
Whoa.
Ricochet, I don't think he really needs it. Gable, like you said, I think would be another person that would fizzle out within a month or two, and he'd be King Shorty instead of King Gable. But
So, Aaron, before my internet crashed, you went with Ricochet versus Elias with Ricochet winning, right?
I mean, that's what I'm going on record as what I think is going to be the final match. But I was talking about Baron Corbin and how, he would get the heel heat from being the king. And I know you're a supporter of that. You think he's one of the best heels in the business. So at this point, like, I would be fine with it. I feel like Andrade would have been the best choice, but that's over and done with, and we're moving on.
Rob, did you already went with this?
Yeah, I said it's going to be Baron Corbin.
All right. So before this tournament started, I refused to do a bracket for a King of the Ring tournament. So my bad. But I did put on Twitter, number 1, Baron Corbin. Number 2, I believe it was Joe. And number 3, Andrade. I still got 2 left. Now, of who's going to win the whole thing. So obviously my number 1 choice is Corbin for various reasons. The King gimmick is meant for heels. Like, if Ricochet wins this thing, God, it's just going to be awful. King Ricochet, come on, seriously. I heard through a Stooge report that Joe could still win this thing because they think he looks like King Hippo, and it's a rib. And it's a rib from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I'm serious about that. But it's interesting how they set this triple threat matchup, which is very convoluted. So, again, could that help Ricochet advance to the...
I think the triple threat match is completely stupid. They should have just eliminated both men and have Corbin go, straight to the finals, get more heel heat. But like I think Aaron said on his review on Monday, this makes Corbin like a babyface because he's got to go against the odds now.
But if they want to make somebody, if they want to get Chad Gable to be like a Daniel Bryan Jr. back in the day, WrestleMania 30 time, not that main event style. If you do make the final, Corbin, think about people not wanting Corbin to win that will get behind Chad Gable. And then you have Corbin win anyway. So we'll see what happens, right? I mean, this is a long, drawn-out process. So I'm sure we will talk about the winner
Baron Corbin's established.
Yeah. Well, that's what I want, and you know why, because he's a heel.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the main event. I mean, Raw, is it this Monday coming up, MSG, Madison Square Garden? They haven't done televised event there. I think they did not an NXT, but didn't they do a WWE?
They did the Raw anniversary or something where they had the Undertaker show up and it was like they panned to a different camera or something like that. Didn't they do that at MSG?
No, that was Raw.
MSG's been house shows, except I think they did an NXT, a WWE Network event with Brock Lesnar once there. But they've really treated MSG as just the house show venue. And here we are for Raw coming up. And the tickets aren't selling that hot. We know what the ratings are. And Stone Cold, last time he was there for the reunion, the ratings popped. So is this just more USA Network, Stone Cold there to promote a show? WWE going to benefit for some ratings, maybe get those extra seats sold? I just want to know everyone's take on this because it seems like We got 2 Austin appearances now in a short period of time. Aaron, what do you think?
I think it's exactly what you said. I think part of it is to boost attendance for Madison Square Garden. Part of it is to promote Austin's show, win-win for everybody. And I'm hoping we get a big angle out of this. I would love to see Bray Wyatt show up and put the mandible claw on Steve Austin. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen somebody get heat on Austin yet. And if Bray Wyatt's challenging for the title at Hell in the Cell, I think that's perfect. I think it's great if Bray Wyatt takes out Steve Austin and Austin doesn't have to take a bump. So that would work out quite nicely. And I'd love to see it happen and do it before the contract signing even gets going. Like, make that a running thing where the contract signing just never happens. Like, I would love that. So that's my take on
that
it.
would be talked about pretty well that next 24 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Robbie Vice, take it. I mean, Aaron, you painted the picture perfectly. Rob, what do you think?
Yeah, I believe I heard Aaron say that on his recap. I think that's the best thing that could possibly happen. We know the Fiend is challenging at Hell in the Cell, and what way to put himself in this main event than to take out Steve Austin and interrupt their contract signing. I do think that they're bringing Steve Austin for a couple of reasons, like you said, Virtue. You nailed it. I mean, obviously, he has a new show on USA. USA wants people to watch that show. They want people to watch Raw, so why not cross-promote on both of them? But I don't know. And I don't know. I don't even know if I'm excited for Steve Austin. The only thing that could happen is, like Aaron said, I don't think anyone's ever really attacked Steve Austin, and especially if Austin sells it and they got to take him away in an ambulance. Fans, they're still going to cheer the Fiend, but man, if people do the kayfabe heat, they have to buy into that.
That's a great point. Like, I feel like that's something that would legitimately get Bray Wyatt booed if he took out Steve Austin. Like, that's like the most dastardly thing you can do. You know, Austin is so beloved. He is like the legend of legends. So yeah, I would love that. I want to see Hogan get taken out too. And that would be great. Madison Square Garden, you need a big moment there. This is WWE's first Raw in the Garden in a decade. That would be a historic Madison Square Garden moment. If they just do the contract signing and Austin doesn't do anything, that's going to be boring. And let's make this memorable.
Would you pop if Austin sells it and then the next week they do a segment where Austin's in the hospital and Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt, visits him to kind of nod and wink at that Vince McMahon thing?
Money, more than Carmella. I mean, seriously. Now, and those are great points, and I'm excited for that, but it's probably not going to happen. And if they did any big, I mean, it's just Austin showing up to promote a show. Oh, Braun versus Seth for the Universal title, end of show. That's what it's going to be. Big G, I could see this would be like if they don't reach for that gold mine of the Fiend, why not turn Seth heel here?
You could. I could see that.
What's your thoughts?
I think Seth would benefit from the heel turn. I don't know. Would he attack Strowman and then Austin? If they don't do the whole Fiend thing, or people turn heel. People cheer for who they want to cheer nowadays. I don't think there's baby faces and heels in the business anymore, except the people who can pull it off, like a Jericho, or other people. But I like everybody's idea. With the Fiend attacking Austin, that would be awesome. I mean, they are going to be an MSG again for SmackDown, and Undertaker's going to be there. So if they don't do it with Austin, I'm sure they'll do it with Undertaker and have the Fiend put down the Undertaker once and for all.
Okay. You cut out a little bit there, but I think we got most of what you said.
Okay.
Kyle, what do you think?
For some reason, I feel like we're all getting our hopes up a little too much with this. I don't know. Sometimes it just feels like
going to happen. It's just going to be a contract signing. Yep.
Yeah. Like, because I don't know. I've seen it before, but, it is Stone Cold Steve Austin. It is Madison Square Garden, WWE's first show here since, I believe, Survivor Series 2011. Austin's got his show. You want to promote that. Obviously, this is a big ratings grab because WWE's ratings haven't been too hot lately, and obviously football season is starting soon, so that's not going to help Monday Night Raw's ratings or anything like that. So, this would really get the Fiend character over big time if he attacks Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Stone Cold doesn't really have to take any bumps because it's the mandible claw. So, and like I said, no one really gets heat on Stone Cold Steve Austin anymore these days. So it'd be very huge for Bray Wyatt, and it'd be awesome if it really did happen. But I'm personally not going to get my hopes up.
If they were
smart,
if they were smart, they would close this with the show and have you have the Fiend attack Stone Cold, and then it just goes black and it cuts out. And it has you thinking okay, what happened to Stone Cold?
Well, when the glass breaks, people are going to go nuts, right? That's a given. Yeah. That's proven. It's so at least it's an appearance and maybe a semi-promo from Stone Cold Steve Austin. So stay tuned, folks, because we'll be talking about it next week if something really, really, really good happens. That's all I got. Anybody want to add anything? If not,
no.
Let's go home. So Interstate Kyle, Carl, whatever you want me to call you, go ahead and do your plugs because I know you got your YouTube channel as well.
Speaking of my YouTube channel, believe it or not, I am less than 100 subscribers away now from reaching 10,000 subscribers. So it's going to be a very big month for me here very soon. So I'm very proud of that personally. I've been doing YouTube here for almost a decade, believe it or not. So yeah, just subscribe to me on Interstate Kyle. I do have a Patreon if you want to help support my channel. It's just patreon.com/Interstate Kyle. You can find me on Twitter at Interstate Kyle. I'm going to be having some new shirts here soon, right, Aaron?
Yeah, hopefully, because now, got to have an up-to-date shirt. So yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, looking forward to that. And, yep, take it away, Big G.
NoDQ.com/Big G. Take you to my Twitter page. NoDQ_Big G on Instagram. Jeff Feltz on Facebook. And that's it for me. Robbie, take it away.
You guys can follow me on Twitter at NoDQVice. And, I know I said a lot of things about AEW some of you don't like. So, follow me on Twitter. Let me know, am I the smartest guy in the room or am I the dumbest person you've ever listened to? Let me know in the comments here. I will respond to you. I will engage. Let's make it happen. Aaron Rick?
All right. Sounds good. So, yeah, check out NoDQ.com/merch. Pick up some NoDQ t-shirts. We got some hoodies. We got hats. We got stickers, Kyle. We got lots of stuff on there. We'll have to get a NoDQ Interstate Kyle sticker on there as well. So check that out and check out NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding Clash of Champions. Virtue, let's go ahead and wrap it up.
Follow me on Twitter. Troll with me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue. No matter what I do to try to lose followers, I still gain them. I don't know why. I'm supposed to be that resident troll slayer. And, of course, NoDQ.com/Virtue with the lowercase v takes you to my Facebook page. That's all I got for this week. So for Aaron Riff, for Robbie Vice, for Big G, and Interstate Kyle, I am Virtue. See you next time.